Hello, it's your girl Michelle Hope Walker. Welcome to Michelle Hope Walker Speaks. Today we're going to talk about the plight of the homeless, the poor, and different issues that go on with the disenfranchised. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because all of us have been there. Don't play. I don't know about that. Well, and if you haven't been there, keep living. Or all of us go through something. Maybe yours have not been about money or housing challenges. Maybe it's something else. But a challenge is a challenge. But here's the thing: I don't get this. Who would set a man on fire? A homeless man at that. There was a man just sleeping. This was in Ventura. This is out here in Los Angeles, California area. Ventura. And they think it's about 3 people. They think they have an idea who it is, but now they just got to get them. But literally set a homeless man who was sleeping in his little, what's the little thing? The little sleeping bag, and set him on fire. The man was, 58 years old? I think the man was like 58 years old. They literally set this man on fire. I'm like, are you for real? I mean, that just horrible. And at one time, remember down in Orange County, they had killed some homeless people. And like I said, one thing that really helped me to expose me to the homeless, and when I say the homeless, because a lot of times also, when you're needing help, sometimes people don't realize what the state or the federal may consider as homeless. So sometimes people may be staying with other people or staying in a hotel or whatever the case might be. And I thank God, no, you're not out on the street homeless, But I only wanted to mention that to let you know that there's help and services available for you if you find yourself in that situation. We're in Hollywood, so everybody's swamping to Hollywood. Sometimes got no place to stay, or you thought you had a place to stay and stuff just don't work out right. There are resources, to help. So I just wanted to mention that. But for the homeless people that I'm talking about that's on the street, one thing I learned from my pastor, Matthew Barnett, he wrote a book back here. It's Cause. And so it's Pastor Matthew Barnett. And he actually went out on the street and, and slept on the street just to see how it was and the challenges that people go through. Know why he does? Because he's helping homeless people all the time. And so he wanted to actually experience, at least for a day or 24 hours, what some of the things they may experience. So one thing about the night thing, we have to pray and then also be cautious of the homeless people that are in your area. I mean, okay, let's say if you don't have the money to help them or to house them, at least, keep an eye out for them. Because what happens, it says at night can be very dangerous for homeless people. For whatever reason, you have these people and you have to pray for them that would do evil things to homeless people. I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking it's bad enough that they're outside on the street, and then you're going to go mess with them. But you have people that, like I said, in Orange County for a while, they were killing homeless people. In Ventura, they just set this homeless man on fire. And, a lot of times even the women and the men can be sexually harassed, at night. So a lot of times when you see the homeless who live on the actual street sleeping during the daytime, it's not because they're lazy. I hate when people say that. It's not because they're lazy, but because night is so dangerous that they have to stay awake at night a lot of times. They have to stay awake. They have to stay watchful because at night is when people will try to do evil and wrong things to them. So a lot of times they are safe to sleep in the daytime, especially if they're laying in a public area. I've learned that too. It's not that, they just want to mess up your walkway or your sidewalk. No, it's they're trying to find somewhere where they can sleep and that's in, public area where enough people can see them, that if somebody does something to them, hopefully somebody will say something. Or also because there's so many people right there, the people won't mess with them, because that's the thing about night. I don't know, people that, like to do bad things and even wrong things tend to want to do it at night, because they hide, sneaky and hiding and trying to, do stuff in the dark. Even the Bible talk about, darkness. A lot, people don't do evil stuff. They do more of it in the dark than they do in the light. They run from the light. But then again, these days, they start to commit crimes in the daylight too. But anyway, so that is the thing with the home. So it's not about laziness, but it's about that's the time they can sleep safely a lot of times is in the daytime. But I do want to say a shout out to my homeless sisters and brothers, and unfortunately the kids are out there. But they build a system on how to do this thing. You know what I'm saying? They build a system. I mean, and it's all about perception. Also the way you think about it. You know what I'm saying? You be camping outside. You got, a lot of people go far away to go build a tent and sleep outside, So it's also the way you look at it, because I know, a lot of people that, they don't feel, yes, they will want help in housing. Somebody's willing to give it to them, or if they can, and a lot of them not just give it to them, but they're willing to work for it and, different things like that. But the situation is what it is. So they do the best that they can do with what it is, and so they have their camping tent. They make do, and I commend them. I really commend them. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I always get thrown off when people call lazy people, homeless people lazy. Really? You try sleeping outside all day. Won't nobody hardly let you use the bathroom. Every place you go to, that's a lot of times why, even if you're not homeless, you have a hard time finding a bathroom, because they've been so evil trying to block off the homeless people from being able to go to the bathroom that you can't even hardly, even the paying customer going places can't even find a place to go to the bathroom at, which I think is wrong. I know people always say, oh, but you don't know what they do, and they tear up my place. In fact, there was a guy on the news, he posted up homeless people's picture on his shop because he's trying to make his shop a better place. He said, do this and that. Don't get me wrong, I know. But that's what all people. You got some people that just do evil things. It's not just about just the homeless people. You just got people that just do wrong things, And so, yes, I know you have to take certain precautions, and do different things. But what I'm trying to say is the overall homeless people are not lazy. The overall homeless people are making it day by day, doing the best that they can do. You know what I'm saying? And so don't be so quick to call them lazy and, why don't you go get a job? Well, it's hard getting a job when you don't have an actual address. You know what I mean? It's just a lot. And then people say, well, they got agencies. Yeah, but then do you know how many homeless people it is, especially out here in LA? And I know this goes all over the world. So, wherever you are, what I'm saying is have a heart for the homeless. You don't know how these people ended up homeless. You just don't know how. You know what I'm saying? I've raised, it's been many different times I had to stay with somebody to do something. The struggle is real. The struggle is real. Thank God I've never had to be on the street. The struggle is real. The struggle is real. And so we don't want to turn our nose down at folks, and like I said, I know people don't, well, but you don't know they do this, and then they be pulling tricks, and then, but I'm still on, not everybody's trying to turn trick, and not everybody homeless is lazy or trying to turn tricks or don't want to work. That is not everybody, a lot of times that is the few of the bulk. And then let's hit back to, that thing as far as your people's job. Why don't you do this? And I love this comedian. He Antoine Young. He talks about how in his little skit he talks about how he likes to give, but the other friend don't really like to give because he said what they gonna do with his money, and he was like, well, what do you want him to do with it? Want to buy a house off the money you give him? Really? You're not giving him that much. Because the guy was getting mad because he was saying if he gave him money, they're just gonna go buy drugs and liquor, and the comedian, he's just sort of like, but what do you expect him to get, a house? He's homeless, I don't advocate drinking and drugs, but I get his point of what he's saying. Sometimes my people don't want to give money because they're, caught up on what they're going to spend the money on. Either you're going to give or you're not going to give, But, so we have to have a heart out for homeless people because you never know what situation you could end up in. I seen on the Twitter, one person was had tweeted about be careful how you treat people, going up because, and when you're up, because you will see these same people again when you're down. Now, we don't wish for anybody to come back down. We hope once you get there, you're there. And you can maintain, But, if you go through challenges, things aren't the way you want them to be, it is good that you treated people right. So then people are more willing to help you. If you were willing to help them, people are more willing to help you. And so, again, a heart out to our homeless, help them as you can. You know what I'm saying? Then also today I was just all on PBS today. It was PBS. So I seen a PBS about Detroit, Michigan, and then I seen a PBS coverage on New Orleans, Louisiana. Now, one thing that they pointed out in the challenges of both cities, but one thing they pointed out in the New Orleans is that there was a lady, Stephanie, oh God, Stephanie, I can't think of your name right now, Stephanie Mingo, where they had the St. Bernard community. I think it was the St. Bernard community in New Orleans, and they toured New Orleans. They toured the housing projects down, and they built up other housing, which they've been doing this all across the United States and probably the world. And they call it, I remember when I was in school and studying poli-sci, they called it the white flight, where basically they came to the inner city and they tore all the housing projects down, and so they were going to build some more better housing for them. That was the trick, to get everybody to buy into it. But the challenge is when they built this new housing, then the poor people can't get back in. And so the Stephanie Mingo in New Orleans, she was pointing out, and that was right. She was like, we have a right to housing. And then she pointed out the government people who work for the government live in housing. She said, that's public housing. And she right. That is public housing. She said, so how come they can't stay in their public housing? The government people, they get housing paid for by the government, our service people and all different things that they get in housing. You know what I'm saying? So I can relate her theory on that too, because we do have a challenge with the big eye, little eyes. Okay, it's okay for me to get money from the government, but we don't want you to get money from the government. I mean, we all paying taxes regardless. We all paying taxes through your job or through what you buying. We all paying taxes. So I tell people, if you need something, you think you qualify for it, go apply for these government programs because they're there. Your tax money has gone into it. We all pay taxes. All these little tax breaks, like I remember my sociology teacher told me, that's welfare. It's amazing on how they pick and choose what is good welfare and what is not good welfare, or whatever the case might be. You're not getting anything from the government, from tax breaks, taxes, and it's government, okay? But anyway, but she had a good point at that, because then she talked about then when they build the new housing, they have all these rules on it that then if your child has been in trouble and juvenile, whatever, they can't come back in the home. If you don't have a job, you don't get back in the home. So the poor people who were living in the projects, if they didn't have that same job by the time the other housing moved up, then they weren't eligible. Which I have never been able to figure that out. That if the housing is for the low income and they help house people so they're not homeless, but then they got to be making a certain amount of money to even get in the housing that's for the low income, that is something we most definitely need to redo. And that's why your girl, Michelle Hope Walker, is running for president, United States president 2016. Vote for me, because these are issues that we need to tackle. Because I've been in the struggle, still sometimes we all still go to struggle, you know what I'm saying? So, some of these things that are done, it's like, who came up with this? Who thought of this, type thing, and so it has to be beneficial to all. It has to be beneficial to all. And so the plight of the homeless and just dealing with housing, I for one, I just feel like it's too much money in the United States for anybody to be homeless. I just feel, to me, it's an ideology type thing a lot of times. And there's systematic reasons for why some people are in the position they are. It goes to race, it goes to cultural classes and social classes, it's a whole education, it's a whole lot of things, you know what I'm saying? But I just believe we should be able to house everyone. Now, it's like we should be able to house everyone. Now, if they want something better, then they would have to, get a trade or grow more in a trade or whatever to be able to get better. But at least so no one's living on the street. So I'm your girl, Michelle Hope Walker, trying to save the world. Y'all know your girl trying to save the world. So you can call me, 323-338-6580. You can tweet me at Hope_speaks. You can Google search me, Michelle Hope Walker Speaks. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Michelle Hope Walker Speaks. And before I get out of here real quick, I want to read that scripture in the Bible in Proverbs chapter 31, verse 9. It talked about, open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. So that's what I've just done. So you all stay blessed.